Hey, it's Damon Williams, and welcome to the Check-In. On today's show, I have two of my really good friends, Chicago comedians, actually. One is a fast rising star. She's taken the whole game by storm. I remember seeing her when she first got started, and now it's been a pleasure to watch her journey. That's just Nesh. She went on to do Kevin Hart's Heart of the City. She also did Monique's and Friends special for Showtime. That's just Nesh. Then we have my good buddy, my brother, my friend, Chicago's own from Julian High School, Rodney Perry, who you know him from movies like Tyler Perry movies. You know him from the Monique Show, both radio and TV, and his own stand-up career is amazing. So welcome to the Check-In. Let's get checked in. On today's show, I want to talk about some things. One thing I want to talk about is Ice Cube. Ice Cube met with the Republicans, and now people are ready to cancel Ice Cube. I don't agree with that. I understand what his motives were. And then LeBron, he did it again. He's won his fourth championship with his third team. People want to compare him to Michael Jordan to see who's the GOAT. You chime in, and we'll chime in right here on the Check-In. Come on, y'all, let's get checked in. My first guest, it's gonna be so much fun. This young lady, first of all, my wife and I, we saw her at the Raven in Chicago, which is in Blue Island, actually. She did her set. We laughed so hard, we basically adopted her. And then she started stalking my online radio podcast and became a cast regular because she ain't had nothing else to do while she was on break at her job. Please welcome to the show. You know her, you love her. She's killing the game all across the country. Just Nesh. What's up, Nesh?
Hey, what it do? Yes, this is sexy, Damon. I like this setup.
Yeah, I'm fronting like I'm balling. You understand what I'm doing. But check it out.
Damn,
So I had a show called the Damon Williams Show, and you used to, I say you used to stalk me. You used to stalk my show while you were on break, I thought, at your job, and then you end up becoming a regular cast member on the show. Well, tell the people about that first.
Yes, first of all, I was not on break. I was very much at work and working when I would stalk your show. And they just gave me my own office, and I was like, yo, I get to do what I want. And your show was just really fun and funny. And I knew y'all would pick up my call if I called because y'all was the only one calling and shit. I was like, I could definitely get through. So I will make it a point to tune in and call in and just rock out with y'all for a little bit. Yep. And look what it did.
Look what it do.
And I inched my way in.
So what was your actual job? What was your actual job there?
Oh, my actual job, I was a case worker for a nonprofit. We worked with DCFS families, and we were like the step right before they took the kids out the house. They sent them to us so we can put them in programs and parenting classes and try to get them to work so they wouldn't snatch the kids.
Okay.
And they snatched all them kids messing with me because I was not doing anything. When I started comedy, I was like 3 years into social work when I started comedy. So I quit my job. I did 5 years. So yeah, like halfway through I started comedy and I just stopped caring about everybody, the clients, the kids, the job. I was just go in my office and tweet and take naps.
Right. So needless to say, comedy has saved the lives of many children and kept families together.
It really has. I started off a very good worker, but once comedy hit, it was just downhill from there.
And that leads me to my first question. So how do you go from being a social worker, saving families and working with kids to doing stand-up?
Oh my God, my friends. I always loved stand-up. I always loved going to shows. And I would take them to this one spot in Dalton, a really tough room. And everybody would bomb and they would be like, you could do that, best friend. You funny. You could get up there. They bomb. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm a bomb too. But thank y'all for hyping me up. And I went up there. I went up there one day, got the nerves, and here we are.
Amazing. So I'm a fan because when Juanita and I saw you at the Raven, we were instantly in love. I basically like said, this young lady is going places. Your style is so unique. It's so natural. So
Oh, thank you.
once you got into the game, you really excelled quickly. You had some opportunities like the Kevin Hart situation with Heart of the City. How did that come about?
Oh, yeah. Man, you know what? They actually just reached out to me. That was the first season, so they didn't hold auditions like they did for the other seasons. Mary Lindsay hit me up and was like, "They coming to town. Would you be interested in being on the show?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah!" So yeah, they just kind of reached out to me, and we did it. So that was a blessing. I think that was 2016.
Yeah, and look how
Yeah,
that
I have been doing comedy for like 3 years.
So that was your third year in the game, and you ended up doing Kevin Hart's thing on that was Comedy Central, correct?
Yeah, it was like third year. Yep,
Well,
crazy.
well, we definitely can't
Fourth
just
year. Yeah, I started in 2012.
okay. We definitely can't just brush past that Mary Lindsay name. If people don't know, Mary Lindsay is one of the owners. Well, she was the principal owner of All Jokes Aside, but she was also one of the co-owners and general manager of a legendary club, which I like to call the comedy mecca. All Jokes Aside, back in the day, Mary Lindsay, Raymond Lambert, and James Alexander started that club, and that's where I got my start. So we definitely want to give big ups to Mary because whenever the industry came to town, they talked to Mary to find out who were the comics and who was hot, and thusly that's how you got on the show. So now you're doing your thing, you run around, you traveling the country, making people laugh, but you're also balancing that with being a mother. So what's it been like being a mom and being a professional stand-up comedian?
Whoo, neglectful. Thank God for my mom. Well, DCFS would have had to work on me to keep him with. I would have needed my old job to keep him in my life. But yeah, it's been really good. A lot of sacrifice, but I'm so grateful. My mom was like, "Girl, go." And you know what's so crazy about that? When I wanted to quit my job, I knew my mom was gonna be like, "Girl, no," because I had an apartment. I had my son. And I just, I didn't want to do it. I was talking to her and I knew she was going to be like, stay at work. But she was like, can you pay your bills off comedy? I was like, no. And she was like, well, we'll put your stuff in storage and you can move back home. I'm like, damn, that solidified it. She had never seen me on stage a day in her life. She was just like, with the shits. So she's always been there to support. And like I say, when I'm out of town, she got him. I don't have to worry about nothing, between her and his dad. I was very much able to do what I needed to do as far as being gone. But yeah, I'm a little absentee parent.
I know.
But he's older now, so it's a lot easier now. He's almost 13. So
Yeah. Oh, wow.
it was
That's
real
amazing.
hard at first. I used to like cry. Yeah.
Yeah.
You remember he used to be asleep at the radio station?
Yeah, she used to bring him to the show, people, and he would be in the other room playing with his little toy or whatever while we were doing my show on what was that called? UBM Chicago. And that's amazing. But that people, that tells you sometimes your support system is so important in this business. If you don't have it, you have to make sacrifices, or sometimes people are definitely neglecting their career because of life's real challenges. But that being said, you had your mom, so shouts out to your mom. When you get your first award, definitely got to give your mom's props. And I want to meet her because a lot of parents, my mama, back in the day, I had a Subway franchise, and when I was ready to go into franchise and I was going to quit my job, and I worked at City Hall and had a city job, and my mother was one of those, she was AT&T and she was in the union, and she was like, you get a job, you stay there for 30 years and then you get your pension and retire. So when I was ready to quit to do my leap of faith, she's like, boy, you gonna quit that good job? I'm like, this ain't no damn good job, Mom. I'm selling cocaine. You just don't know that's why I got all these cards. But that's a whole nother story when I'm being interviewed. But I definitely, since you are a student of the game, because I know you have a lot of respect for your predecessors and you say you loved comedy already from watching, there's always the comparison in our culture, especially about who's the GOAT of the game and who's the Mount Rushmore. Who are your favorite comedians?
Oh man, this is such a hard question for comedians because we know so many good ones, and it's like for me to narrow it down, we'll be here all day. But who I did watch growing up was Sinbad, because my mom was church, so that was like the only stand up that she would let us watch in the house. So we watched all of Sinbad, and I fell in love with him. I've always been a big fan of him. And when I was younger, when I was watching like comedy, I was a big fan of Deion Cole. when I was growing up, like when I was like little. So yeah, I would just say them two, but I got too many favorites to name. You one of my favorites, B. Cole. I got so many. I'll just be up here all day naming people, but I would say Sinbad. He really was a big influence.
It's all subjective. When people enjoy, they enjoy what they like what they like. So that's not an issue. So we're gonna talk sports. Do you follow any type of sports?
Whoa, sports, goddamn. No, I don't. I definitely didn't know it was the playoffs that just ended. I thought it was a regular Zoom game. I'm like, damn, that was the whole playoffs. Okay.
Okay, so don't worry about that. Don't worry about it.
I don't.
That's okay. That's all right. You entitled not to.
But I do know LeBron James. I did want to do the little topic about the GOAT, but we ain't got to get on that.
No, well, I mean, that's the thing, because, it's generational. So everybody's been comparing LeBron to Mike and who's the GOAT and blah, blah, blah. You want to chime in on that topic?
Oh, yes. I will just make one statement about that. LeBron is a very excellent player. I would still put Michael Jordan as the GOAT, only because nobody is robbing boys to get their LeBron James off their feet. So if you're not going to get shot over his gym shoes, then you're not the GOAT. How could you be the GOAT? And LeBron James, they just walking out here with their shoes still on. Period.
The definitive, it all boils down to the shoes. Like Spike Lee said, it's got to be the shoes. Ain't nobody getting jacked for LeBron, that's for sure.
Not one person.
All right, let's go back into your life. With the COVID situation, first of all, I commend you, because you were one of the first comics to start a room, even though it was outdoors, to restart the comedy game in Chicago, and your room was highly successful, and I had fun doing it. Even though I went when it was early, like it was like one of my second times out the house.
Early, it was so scary. All the people were out.
Oh my God, it was overwhelming. Yeah, so it was outdoors.
We had too many people.
But they had the indoor scenario, so there weren't that many people indoors, but it was packed outside, and they were little Rona clusters sitting around, but it was outdoors, so nobody got sick. So first of all, let's say that. But secondly, how did you feel being the first person back out, and then how's it been doing it since you've been back?
Oh man, at first it was very, I'm like, damn, are people gonna come out? And I didn't want to pressure people to coming out, especially, comics, the audience, if they want to show up, cool. I don't really, but just to ask people to come out and risk, catching Rona over this little weekly show, I didn't know. But it turns out that everybody wanted to be outside. I found that out because they were just coming. I didn't even hit a lot of people up at first. I just hit a couple comics. So we have a quick little show, but I was having too many comics and too many audience members. So I was just like, oh, we just don't care no more. We out here. So it was good. It's been going good too. We're about to go back inside. So I don't know what's going on with that, because they say we're going to spike again. So I don't know.
Yeah, well,
pray about it.
The president said, once you get it, you're immune with his dumb ass. That's like saying once you catch a cold, you'll never catch another cold. That's just stupidity. But I've been doing riddles, and we limited the capacity of the audience to just reduce the percentage of the chance of people getting sick, and we hope that doesn't happen. But I just want to commend you, because it was amazing the way it gave us all a platform to get back on stage. A lot of us had to shake off the rust, and that was dope. But we
were so rusty. We were so terrible. The first couple shows back, I was like, whoa, I was like, I ain't had no segues. I was just up there. I didn't even know what to say, but yeah, we needed that, because I just didn't realize that, when you're doing virtual shows, it's not the same. We were doing all this virtual shit, and it just was not a real set. So you think you was still remember your material, but I got up there and I was just like, knock.
Who's a Capricorn in the house? No, we were really tripping.
Right, ladies, make noise.
And it's so crazy, because we've done these shows, and when you have a set, let me just tell the novice and the people out there that don't know, the layman, once you establish a set, there's a routine, there's a rhythm, there's a setup, and one word off or one, just pause would throw off a joke. Ooh. And you would think you would get right back out there and get it done. Man, let me tell you, that's not how it worked. You got to be in the gym with this thing. And there was a lot of people. We saw people stuttering and stammering, and so thank you for giving us an opportunity to do it. But on another COVID note, as a parent, and I know your mom is helping you, homeschooling has become a situation with your son. How are you handling that, and how's that going for him and you?
Well, I want to say it's going good for him. I don't know what this boy is doing on this computer. I was like, I don't check on you when you're in real school. I'm not going to check on you now. This ain't no different for me. I ain't going to have more work because you at home. You at school until 3, and then let me know if you did your homework. Like, that's it. But, yeah, it's been pretty easy. I ain't been having to get up, so I've been very happy with that. He go right to the front room, to the sun porch, get his work done. I asked him, do he need any help with anything? He lie and say no. I be like, bet. You need a whole cardboard box today.
Right. If you good, we good.
So,
I
we just
understand.
been chill, but it's been good. It's been good. It's weird. He want to go to school though.
Yeah, I'm sure the kids want to get back into the classroom situation and for the social aspect of it. But I mentioned some of your credits. You did the Monique special, and you also did the Heart of the City. What's next for you? What's going on with your game, and what can we expect from you in the future?
Oh man, well, right now we have really been, well, COVID did kind of mess up. We started the Funny by Nature tour. It's an all-female tour, super dope lineup. Myself, Ashima Franklin, Kelly Kales, and Crystal Powell from Houston. And so the kickoff was in March. Of course, that ended because COVID. So it's been postponed, but we really were getting that going, and we were going to kind of document that journey and kind of make that a real big deal, which we still are, but we're trickling out. But that's the next big thing for me. As far as solo stuff, just still out here doing shows and traveling, on the road. But yeah, we really want to make that tour almost like the next Queens of Comedy, to be honest, or princesses or whatever, new bitches, whatever y'all want to call it. Because I think Queen is such a you can't, I don't think you could just title yourself Queen. So it'll just be something like, these the next wave of bitches, because, they can only name 5 female comics in the world. It's like, Jesus Christ. So we just want to kind of make that.
Yeah, I know. And you have Vivica Fox involved with that, correct?
I did what?
You had Vivica Fox involved with that initially?
Oh, yeah, Vivica Fox. Yeah, she presented the tour. So, like, some cities she would be there. She would host. But she loved us. Like, we worked with her a couple of times, myself and Kelly. And she was like, yo, whatever y'all trying to do, let's do it. Because y'all are dope. And, she's all about that girl power stuff. So, yeah, she was rocking with it. We just hit her up. Was like, yo, let's do a tour. She was like, let's do it. So, we're excited. I just really wanted to.
Look, at any point that y'all would decide to think about calling it the Set It Off tour since Vivica was involved?
That's so funny, but no, nobody thought that.
I know.
But that is good because it's 4 of us.
Yeah.
That is so cheesy to me, but I love it.
It's cheesy, but if y'all put the graphics like y'all was Cleo and them, anyway, Funny by Nature.
Yeah, we can put like the mask on.
All that.
Those little things they had on their face.
Well, y'all could bring that. Y'all could bring that back on the second round. I really appreciate you taking time out for this. I know I caught you off guard. You at the crib chilling. But ladies and gentlemen, this is Just Nesh. That's spelled Nesh. Of course, it'll be in the graphics. She's one of my favorite people, and she's one of my favorite comedians. And you can look out for amazing things for her in the future. Thanks for checking in at the check-in. And everybody, will post all your social media. Tell them how to find you, and we'll wrap this up.
Y'all can find me on Cash App at Just Nesh Comedy. But Instagram is Just Nesh, Facebook fan page, everything is Just Nesh. And I also started a makeup line, so make sure y'all check out Pretty Witty by Nesh, and we can get into that later.
No, we can talk about it now.
If y'all go to my page.
No, let's talk about that now. Say it again slower so they can find it.
Oh, Pretty Witty by Nesh. That is the Instagram page, but the website, if you want to check out the site, is prettywittybynesh.com. So go buy you some eyeshadow palettes. It's been doing really well. I'm very excited about it. I was able to do that during COVID since I had 8 months to do something. So,
and that's what the beauty of this COVID situation. Everybody should be trying to create, adapt, and innovate. And thank you for taking time out. Y'all get some Pretty Witty, fellas. You can get some too if that's how you get down. But support my girl Just Nesh. The Funny by Nature tour will be coming to your city. It'll be coming to Riddles because we have to postpone the date. We'll bring it back. And much love from me here at the check-in. Love you, girl. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. See y'all.
All right, my next guest on the check-in is no stranger to anybody who's watching this. If you enjoy comedy, you know this man's work. He's one of my Chi-Town brothers, and Chicago comedians are the greatest, and you'll see a lot of them right here on the check-in. But let's all welcome Rodney Perry checking in at the check-in. What up, Rodney Perry?
What up, Dane? How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing better now that you grabbed the line, man. I appreciate you taking time out to check in with me.
Hey, can we talk about this before we even say anything? How you look the same age you look when I met you?
I don't know what that is, man. Genetics, I keep the sun off my face, and I'm dying with the facial hairs.
I know, right?
Look, you push me in the pool, I'll be like Benjamin Button right now.
Word.
So, but you, man, first of all, you look great. You look like you're in good shape. You look like you've been taking care of yourself. I know you've documented the fact you had health issues, but now that this COVID thing is coming and hit everybody's families and such, including yourself personally, how are you handling your health and taking care of yourself? What's your regimen?
Well, I mean, one, COVID-19 is real. I had it, I dealt with it, and when nobody really talks about the toll it takes on your body. And so, I mean, of course you hear about so many deaths or whatnot, but for those of us that survived it, it really took a toll on my lungs, Damon. So when I was spent 14 days in the hospital, and when I went home, I couldn't walk across the room. Like I was that labored on my breathing, and it took me probably another 2 or 3 weeks just to get where I felt healthy. So my regimen now, I bought a Peloton bike, and I get on that bike and I ride every day, man. And it's been making me feel strong. Got my face looking a little slimmer, and so it's working. And you know, I heard Kevin Hart say something recently. He was talking about, you know, your journey in fitness. You're not going to see results immediately, but you just got to keep putting one foot in front of the other and try to be that way. So I've stopped smoking cigars and things like that, and so you know, you got to make a life change if you want to have different results.
That leads to my next question about you, because prior to all of the situations happening, you used to be the crock pot king. You had a lot of crock pot recipes. What you doing with the cooking these days?
You know what? I still cook crock pot dishes. You know, now I stopped crock pot as much because when my mom passed away, I just didn't feel like cooking. You know, okay. And I know those things don't have nothing to do with each other, but you know, you just never know how losing a parent is going to affect you. And I just didn't feel like it no more. So, but I guess to answer your question, you know, you're always trying to eat a little healthier, but I still love my fried chicken and my French fries and my burgers. You know, I still love all that stuff. And you have to, moderation is the key to life, ultimately.
Absolutely. And that's why I tell people you ain't got to be radical, because my wife a pescatarian, and so everything is fish and shrimp, and you know, every once in a while I jump out and grab me a burger. I don't care what it is, because if you don't eat it every day, it won't affect your life, I feel. Plus, you got to live. You got to have a quality of life. But speaking of quality of life, you back out here on this road, man. You out here joking. How was it coming back to the stage? What's that been like?
You know what? Before we even get to coming back, Damon, I didn't realize how much I needed comedy. Like my mind, like, you know, you probably like me in terms of we haven't been off the stage in 90 days ever.
Never.
And so now you look 90, 100 days, and you ain't, you know, the wife's looking at you like, when you going somewhere? And so it was crazy, man. And so I was losing my mind, dude. And so I began to kind of, you know, cultivate this social media following, cultivate my Instagram, my Facebook, my Twitter. And that kind of gave me an outlet that I needed. But like to get back on stage, ain't nothing like it, man. Damon, you know, I'm a comedian, bro. You know, I need that stage and to be back on stage, whether they got masks on or not. You know, the crazy part is people be laughing and you can't tell. They got their masks on. I don't know if this dude laughing or frowning. So
Hey,
it
look,
kind of
speaking of that, I
affects
did
the experience a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah, one of my first performances back was a drive-in comedy situation. Have you done the drive-ins yet?
I haven't done the drive-in. They got one here in Atlanta. I haven't done it yet, but and you gave me the best game because we was talking about doing meet and greets after the show, and Dame was like, "I hold my breath." so when you taking pictures, we be up there like this.
Yep, I really do, man. If people see me, because my sister especially, because she's definitely into health and she sells supplements and things like that. So she's like, every time I post something, I don't have a mask on. That look like a mask moment. I'm like, I'm holding my breath. I ain't inhaling none of this. I don't even blink fast, so it don't get in my eyeballs. So that's a second in time. But the drive-in, man, let me tell you about the drive-in show. Talk about not being able to know. So they don't have on masks because you can't really see the people. Maybe 4 or 5 people might sit out in their chairs and that give you just enough response. But what they do is they blow the horns when they laughing.
Oh, wow.
So it's really funny. Now instead of waiting on your laugh, you're waiting on your horn blows. But the thing about horn blows, horns don't have emotion. So you don't know if they saying boo or ha ha, boo, 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 boo. But man, you're one of my favorite dudes and you're very physical on stage and you're known for that. Have you still been able to keep up your physicality since you've been back and how's that working out?
I'm getting old, Damon. I remember the older comics telling me years ago, you ain't gonna be like Rodney Winfield and Ronaldo Ray. They saw me perform one time. They was like, you ain't gonna be able to do that your whole career, boy. And they was right. And I can still have flashes of physicality, but I guess it's like that old joke with the two bulls, and the young bulls say, let's go down there and smash, them cows. And the old bull said, let's walk down there and smash them all. And so I found myself walking down the hill in order to smash the cows. I'm sorry, that is the worst analogy of all time.
No, it's a beautiful analogy. You might as well smash them since you're not cooking them no more. But here's another thing. You brought up two of my favorite OGs, man, and that's Rodney Winfield, who is from St. Louis, and people might not know the name right off the top, but if you saw the movie Talking Dirty After Dark, Def Comedy Jam, he wore the captain's hat. Rodney Winfield was one of my first OGs that I sat down with. He gave me the game like he gave you. Of course, Ronaldo Ray, everybody knows him from 227 and other things. He was a judge on Comic View. In fact, he was a judge on my episode of Comic View. And one of my proudest moments was watching Ronaldo Ray hit that stool and laughing so hard at one of my bits. So we always have this, everybody wants to do the comparison. I talked to Just Niche earlier about MJ and LeBron being the GOAT. In comedy, we also have our GOATs. And for me, of course, I'm going to say Richard Pryor, hands down, then Eddie Murphy is second for me. But there's Carlin, there's people like Dick Gregory and Cosby and all those. But if you were to do a Mount Rushmore, first of all, of legendary comics, and then tell me about your contemporary favorites. Run down that list, and nobody should be offended by this. It's all subjective to your personal choice.
You can do a Mount Rushmore and never leave Chicago.
Flat out.
How about that? But
matter of fact, let's start there. Let's start with Chicago comedy and what's it like being from Chicago, being a Chicago comic, and all the greats that have come from here. Let's start with that, then we'll go into the other question.
Chicago is definitely. Well, Chicago is really interesting, man. First of all, when I hit the comedy scene, so I'm from Chicago, grew up on the South Side, 126th State. I started doing comedy after I leave Chicago. So when I hit TV, Chicago was like, who is this? This dude ain't, we don't know who the fuck, who he say he a what, and from where? Right. And so it really created an atmosphere where I had kind of a chip on my shoulder. Like, when I would come to the city, I was trying to I just wanted my Chicago respect because that was so important to me. For the Damon Williams of the world, for the Leon Rogers, for Corey Holcomb, for D-Ray Day. I wanted guys to respect me. Diane Corder, right. I wanted the Chicago comedians to respect me, man. And I think I earned that definitely over time. It don't hurt to be on TV. Too, that in itself help a little bit. But So that was it for me. I wanted to respect the people from my city because the city is so important. Now when we talk about Chicago, you talk about people like Michael Collier, you talk about Adele Givens, you talk about Robin Harris, you talk about there's so many comics that have left, but they are Chicagoans, real deal. Cheryl Underwood is a Chicagoan.
A lot of people don't know that. Cheryl Underwood, Melanie Camacho. Yeah. It's so many people. Shy McBride, Marsha Warfield. Chicago has a deep history. George Wilborn of comedy. And now we have our young cast that's coming out like the Lil Rels and T. Murph and Chris Redd, who's on Saturday Night Live. So it's definitely, I know what you meant, but you wanted to get your Chicago respect. Because to be honest, I didn't know you were from Chicago till you started doing comedy and you was doing your thing. So what was matter of fact, I'm trying to figure out where I first saw you. What was your first television experience?
So my first Comic View, I don't know if you remember this, Damon. So one year at Comic View, they gave people the crickets. Where
I do remember.
So what would happen was you would do your set, and if it was okay, they would drop your sound out and play crickets over your set. So you bombing for the world. So I'm doing comedy. I done got TV. I got my family gathered around. I'm in Chicago.
Oh, man.
And first of all, Chicagoans are the funniest human beings in the world. Like Chicago people in general, not comedians, just regular people are funny. My cousin's funny, my uncle funny, everybody funny. So I got them gathered around. We about to watch my first TV appearance. My mother there, my grandmother there, and I do my set and I get the crickets.
No. I do not remember that.
My whole family looked at me like, you might want to get that job back. You didn't quit, did you?
Oh man.
So my cousin then roasted me for 5 years. For real, dude. Like they was like, man, this nigga think he funny. He ain't no funny to me. I seen the show. And so I had to deal with that. And so another story connected to that. So I get back to LA and this comedian named Kathy Westfield, she got the crickets too. So she said, Rodney, we suing BET. I'm like, you know what? Me too, I'm in. And I go to my wife, you know how women be the realest. I go to my wife and I'm like, babe, I'm about to sue BET. They gave me the crickets, messed up my career. I'm about to sue them. And she was like, you sure you want to do that? I mean, what if you want to work with them again? I was like, yeah, you're right. I ain't gonna sue them. Just like that. And the only thing I fought myself on, I did not go back to Kathy and go, Kathy, as a man, I just need to tell you, I'm not gonna do that. I just Hollywooded the situation and just acting like I ain't see her no more. And that was really whack of me. And that girl, it like people think Rodney Perry, everybody like Rodney Perry. Kathy Westfield is the one person in entertainment that hate my guts.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. She probably shouldn't have sued him either because I don't know who the hell Kathy is. No diss, but here we go. Because you went back, you've been on BET projects, you've been on movies and films that have been aired on BET. So that's a beautiful story. But they were bogus for that, man, because in TV production, even if you have a mediocre situation or a set that doesn't go well, their job is to enhance it. In fact, before those people, whoever took over Comic View, they used to enhance it. They used to over-enhance it because sometimes they would have people laughing so hard from the audience that it wasn't even funny on the joke. One time, they used to use cutaways so bad that one time I think I saw myself laughing at myself on Comic View.
Dude, I sat in the audience for one episode. I was laughing all through the season.
Like, the whole season.
Cut me in laughing at everybody. I was like, how many times they gonna use? And from then on, I never sat in the audience again because I was like, I'm not gonna let them use me as a super laugher. So yeah.
Super laugher. So let's get back to the original question. if you, and this our culture loves to do this, and I'm just doing it. We're gonna throw a couple of speed round type questions. Your favorite comedian of all time?
My favorite comedian, that's a tough question to me. I mean, Richard Pryor is the GOAT in my opinion, but Eddie Murphy is the reason I do comedy.
Me too. Same answer. If anybody asks me that, and I like to say Richard is the greatest, and Eddie might be the most talented, because he didn't do. Yeah, you know what I mean? Because he did impressions, he did characters, and Richard did too, like Which Way Is Up and all of that. But Richard's comedy, his stand-up, his storytelling, his characters, it was visual for us from an audio standpoint, and that's the sign of greatness because we didn't see Richard growing up, we heard him. Eddie Murphy was my first ever VHS experience. The first time I ever saw somebody with a VCR, it was Delirious. And so I give him his props from that, but he only did 2 major specials, even though he has an album, people like to discount him for that reason, but he popped off so fast, and he was only 22 when he did Delirious. So Eddie
crazy in itself.
Right there. And Richard is the greatest, Eddie's the most talented. But so let's go into your career. You went from doing...
Eddie did have a comedy album, though. Eddie did have a comedy album.
Yes, he did.
For the both videos, and I remember listening to that in high school. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
Absolutely. He had the little flower in his hair on the cover. In fact, I got it on wax. My wife bought me a turntable and some albums, and she bought me the Thriller. She bought me Biggie's Life After Death, and Eddie Murphy's that, and Richard Pryor's Wanted. So I got them on wax at the house. So shouts out to those guys, man. But you yourself, man, you've had an illustrious career. I've watched it grow from that guy that did Comedy View the first time to doing movies with Tyler Perry. Am I mistaken, or did you have a small part in this Coming to America too?
I'm in Coming to America too, man. It's surreal to be on the set with the guy that's the reason you do comedy, and to have like most of my scenes are with him. I'm maybe in 4 or 5 scenes. If the Lord say the same, because it's about a movie. Your ass cut all the way out of a movie. You be like, I know I was right there. And so,
you know what's crazy about that? Not to cut you off, but I did. Because sometimes you'll be in a movie and they'll invite you to the premiere knowing you cut out the damn film. I've seen that happen to people too, but I won't name names. So you're in the movie, your comedy icon, your idol is, and you're doing scenes that he's in, man. Tell us about that experience, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but go ahead and talk about Coming to America too.
Oh man, so you get on set. I know Arsenio. I'm cool with Arsenio. So Arsenio was he was like super cool with all of us. But Eddie Murphy is playing a king, right? This dude is regal like a real king. Like he was kind of always above just like regularness. Like I don't know how to explain it, but it wasn't nothing regular about the dude, and not in a pretentious way, but in a way you go, wow, this dude is really like. First of all, he's still funny. He's still the funniest guy in the room. And, it was just really interesting to watch. And, and to be kind of a fly on the wall, because, like, he spoke to me one morning, and the young homie that was in the movie with me, he was like, Eddie Murphy just spoke to you, dog. I was like, he did. So here's a quick one, Dave. So I auditioned for, the working title of the movie was The Quest, right? So I auditioned for The Quest. I go in, I read like 2 different roles, and I get a call maybe 4 days later. My agent like, yo, Rodney, you booked The Quest. And I'm like, okay, when do we work? She's like, Rodney, you booked The Quest. All right. I'm okay. The Quest, I remember. She was like, The Quest is coming to America too.
Wow.
So it was so surreal. Let me tell you something, Dame. And you're a guy that's had many wins in your career. I think our careers is all about wins, and you might go years without a win,
Right.
without a significant win. You got a win. You woke up that morning, but a significant career win, it could go a decade without a win. And and to get this movie was a definite win.
Yes,
And
sir.
even if they cut me out, to have been on the set with these great actors and comedians, and it was just surreal, man.
Man, I can't imagine, because that's the one guy that I really want to have that kind of like interaction with, where he says that I know he knows my name. Like, he might have seen, because he watches a lot of stand up, but for him to say my name, because me and Arsenio, when Arsenio did it, it was kind of interesting, because I went to taping. I think G-Thang was taping here. No, he told me about it, so he got me back. Oh, what it was, Eddie was coming to do Arsenio, the reboot, and G-Thang got us in, so we were in the audience. But before Eddie got there, everybody was backstage in the green room kicking it, and they like, Eddie coming, y'all gotta get the fuck out of here, period. And I excuse my language to everybody, but here come the king, you know what I'm saying? We gonna clear this out, period. But Arsenio was still back then. He's like, man, I introduced myself. He's like, no, you do stand up, right? Like, yeah, I know your work. And I was like, that was a win, just in that moment. But to actually be on the set with Eddie and working with him, that's amazing. And you've had other films before that. That's why you were kind of nonchalant about, okay, I booked The Quest. Tell us about your film career.
Well, people always ask me like why get in the movies or TV? What I realized pretty early on in my career, I'm a Rudy Poo going around LA, and what I noticed is all the cats that was coming back from weekend work, clubs and stuff, they all had TV careers or movie careers. And you like, hey man, where you just coming from? Man, I did a club out and blah, blah, blah. And all them dudes, every single one of them was an actor too, or something, a host. And so I was like, yo, I got to start doing that. So I started taking acting classes. I took classes with Tasha Smith. And what was dope about her is she was an ex-comedian. So she knew how to communicate to me as a comedian and explain to me what was going to be required of me as a comedian that was an actor. Because a lot of times as an actor, as a comedian, you have the autonomy to create on screen. And everybody don't really get that. So I started taking classes. And once you get training, you actually start booking stuff. And so, my first big movie, which was Johnson Family Vacation, Said almost gave me that. Because I've been touring with Said road manager KB. KB, I ran the KB. I was a warm-up guy on Cedric's TV show. Hold on. I was the warm-up guy on Cedric the Entertainer Presents. And so I had a relationship with Cedric. And so I ran into KB and I was like, dude, man, I know y'all working on a movie. I actually read the table read Steve Harvey's part. And I knew they was working on it. And I ran into KB and I was like, dude, I need a movie, man. And he was like, you know what, Rod? We got you. And I went in, I read for it. The character was supposed to be way bigger than me. And they changed a bit to accommodate me. And I got to work 4 weeks on that movie. Let me tell you something. That movie, I got a check from that movie last week. That movie is the gift that keep on giving. Johnson Family Vacation, and yeah.
I promise you that movie was on last night, and I watched part of it last night. So you preaching to the choir when it comes to that. Also, you said a lot of people don't understand that when you're a comedian, you're an actor, you have the autonomy to create on screen. A lot of people don't know autonomy. All right, so we're dropping big words on the check-in. I appreciate that. So I teased at the beginning of the show. Yeah, that's my job. I teased in the beginning of the show about the people, this cancel culture and comparison. So we talked about the GOATs of comedy. The LeBron MJ thing will go on forever. If you want to chime in on LeBron MJ, but before I forget, I also want to talk about the cancel culture. But talk about LeBron and Michael Jordan. Anything you have to say about that, and then I have one more question for you.
Well, what I'm not about to do is come on the Chicago show and talk about LeBron being the GOAT. But I will say this: I think it's kind of apples and oranges when you start to compare eras. You know,
Right.
whether it's Michael and Dr. J. Remember, that was a thing at one point.
How
That
about that?
MJ and then, like Dr. J, people that was Dr. J fans was like, that dude ain't no Dr. J. And so every
Flat out.
era has their guy. You know,
Right.
like people talk about Bill Russell, but I question Bill Russell because wasn't no black dudes playing.
That's, man, let me tell you, I just said Bill Russell played against Barney Fife and his friends. That shit don't count at all in
You
my
got 100
opinion.
points. You got 100
Yeah,
points,
look.
ain't nobody tall.
Yeah, Will Chamberlain, same thing. So I get that, and the era thing is a very valid point. Go ahead.
Now, I will say this. This is the fundamental difference between Michael Jordan and LeBron James. A daddy. Daddy. Men that have fathers do things differently. Like, and I'm a firm believer of this. Like, I think LeBron took longer to find his way because he had to figure out some man stuff. Like, the decision never happens if he got a daddy in his life.
How about that?
And so when you watch all the documentaries on Michael Jordan, what's the constant? He always had his daddy to go through for advice and counsel. And so he ended up not really doing nothing publicly stupid. And so what's remarkable is that a guy like LeBron James still ended up where he ended up without that. That in itself is remarkable. I think when at the end of his career, he will be easily to go, LeBron James.
Wow.
Just on sheer numbers. And I think we can take it for granted now, his impact on the league. But, dude, I mean, he's made some, and I hate to use this word, but he made some bums look real good. Like, you know, Cleveland was nothing. Kyrie was over there losing while he running his mouth before LeBron got there. And so, and even that Laker team, don't get me wrong, AD's on the way. AD is cold, but AD wasn't cold by himself. And he needed some guidance. He needed, like LeBron had D-Wade, he needed LeBron. And so, is LeBron the GOAT right now? No. He's got 4 rings. Until he at least get 5, we need to even stop talking about it. You know,
True that.
5 rings at the very least. He needs 5 rings, but he's gonna dwarf all the stats.
Yeah. Just on the sheer length of his career by him coming out of high school, that gives him an advantage in the numbers. Now, the next thing, man, right now we're in the political season. The election is coming up. And I won't say how many days it is because by the time this airs, who knows how that'll go. But the one thing I want to touch upon is Ice Cube. Ice Cube came out and said he wanted a contract for Black America. He said, don't just give the Democrats your vote and be taken for granted without them coming to the table. So he he met with the, I think they call it, the acronym is the ADOFs, and they're African descendants of former slaves. And they came up with a $500 billion plan for a contract with America. He took it to the Democrats. The Democrats said, let us get in office first. He took it to the Republicans, and they were receptive, and they changed their agenda. But now people want to cancel Ice Cube because he talked to Trump and his people. How do you feel about this coming election, or the election in general, and the whole situation with Ice Cube being canceled and the cancel culture overall, if you can put that all in a nutshell?
I mean, dude, I had a conversation with some folks this morning about this very subject, man. And, you know, I mean, it really disturbs me that Black people is so easy to cancel somebody. Like,
flat out.
You know, I mean, this is our guy. People love Ice Cube. And you telling me that he goes to have a conversation and you put him in the trash can like that? I'm just not cool with that. But you know, it is a pretty peculiar time to do it. You know, as somebody said something really interesting, if he had done this 2 years ago, it might be more of a fair conversation. But I don't think Black people realize when they're being used. Like, when you're being used for a photo op, it happened to Steve Harvey, it happened to other people, it happened to John Gray that went to the to the White House and talk to Donald Trump. I tell you who's not going up there. and so I'm concerned about Joe Biden. I got to be honest. And my boy was like, "Look, Rodney, the clock is ticking down, and we can't afford to expose chinks in Joe Biden's armor, because we need this guy. We need more than we need Joe Biden to win. We need Trump out of office." And that's when my friend kind of posed it to me. And so I really hate that we're always at a point of picking a lesser of two evils. And, I think Ice Cube is right in this respect. And your boy on the Breakfast Club said the same thing when he interviewed Joe Biden. He's like, "Dude, I need you to have an agenda for us. I need you to have a plan for Black America. And whether that's police brutality, whether that's prison reform, whatever those things are, you need to start to and this is what I think in terms of why it doesn't happen. The whole of Black is a very large group. The thing that's hard is to move or mobilize a large group of people. So the gay community can mobilize because there really ain't that many of them. And don't get me wrong, the white gays is a whole other thing from the Black gays. That's two different things. So you see a lot of smaller groups. The women can mobilize and galvanize their vote because there's less of them. So it's always hard to get the whole of Black on the same page at once. And because the whole of Black is a lot. And so I think that we have to, instead of canceling the guy, have a conversation with him. He was on Big Tigger show this morning here in Atlanta, and he spoke to what his thinking was, the whole thing. And, when you get into politics, man, people are just so dug in, man. I've interviewed politicians on my podcast, and it always ends up in an argument. Like if you get two people, nobody wants to solve anything,
Right.
Problem, I think, in this country is two parties. Two-party system is the big problem. Because if you vote independent, that's like throwing your vote in the garbage, so you got to pick a team, and Republicans support their guy no matter what, and Democrats kick their guy to the curb. So it's just a crazy situation, man. I know I went on and on. I'm sorry.
No, he said cut some of that. No, we're going to enjoy all of that, man, because it's important. And the check-in is not about, being correct or being concise for TV or nothing like that. This is about us talking and kicking and chopping it up.
Somebody send me the shirt. I'm Black and I vote.
How about that? And that's the important thing, the people that sacrifice, not only women and African Americans, but all those that sacrifice for the opportunity for us to vote. So I recommend that everybody votes no matter what your choice is. I do say on the topic that it is in the fourth quarter for Ice Cube to come out and get this done, but at least he got something done. Secondly, it's more important to vote your choice than not to vote. And also a vote for anybody independent right now is not going to be successful, as you said. So we should be grooming our candidate as an alternative to the two-party system. So when we don't like what either party is doing, we can then present our agenda and our candidate. So I appreciate you, man, taking time out to check in. Let's talk to the people. You got Coming to America 2 coming up. You're coming to Chicago, of course, at Riddle's Comedy Club, and that might be before or after this airs. We appreciate you coming home at all costs. And then, is there anything else that you're doing, that your podcast and your social media, that you want to tell people how to find Rodney Perry and what's going on with you?
I'm easy to find. The website is rodneyperry.com. All my social media is Rodney Perry Live. I'm gonna be doing something with Sirius, but I'm not ready to talk about it just yet. And I come back and so I will be hitting you up and a lot of our peers up for that. So I got something coming down the pipe with them. And I don't know if you're familiar. I'm on this new app called Stereo, and Stereo is kind of a podcasting app, but you can earn money over there. And they just brought me on as a content creator. So they got a whole thing, and there's people over there talking, and it's really dope, Damon. So I'm gonna tell you about it. And it don't cost nothing.
Okay.
You know, people, every time somebody tell you they're going to tell you something, it's a susu scam or something. But,
Yeah.
I can't tell you, hey, dog, hit me back, man. I want to run something back. It's susu.
You should be here.
I'm good. I'm good.
Right,
I had
man,
one girl call me 8 times. She want to sell me on Bitcoin. I want to. It's all Bitcoin, Rodney, and you gonna make $1 million. I said, how much you made? Well, I ain't made no money yet. I need you to get in.
That's always the first question when somebody try to get me in on one of them situations where you got to bring people in. How much have you? Until I see you pull up in the Bentley, I don't believe none of your propaganda. Rodney Perry, I sure appreciate it, man. You know I love you like my brother, man, and we gonna see each other soon. And we talk about the stereo. Y'all go to Rodney Perry Live for his social media, rodneyperry.com. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Rodney Perry right here on the Check-In, and that is our show today. Thank you, my brother.
I appreciate you, Dame. Have a good day.